There is a goal that Midi Termi will think about for a very long time. 25th minute, Sophie Stadium in Inglewood, Los Angeles. Iran versus Belgium. A match carrying enormous weight in every direction on the pitch, off it, and in the lives of the people watching it. A cleverly worked free kick, disguising the run of the man everyone in the Belgian wall was trying to track. To Remy spinning away from the wall with the kind of movement that only an elite striker can produce. Swiveling, striking the ball, watching it go in, wheeling away in celebration. The crowd, thousands of Iranian Amiens among them, 500,000 people of Iranian heritage living in Southern California, erupting, and then the flag, and then V, and then silence. Termi was offside, not by much. The automated technology identified it. 4 Iranian players were in offside positions when the quick pass was played from the free kick. The goal was disallowed. The score stayed 0-0. And a match that could have changed everything for Iran at this World Cup remained level until Belgium were reduced to 10 men and remained level still goalless at the final whistle in Los Angeles on the 21st of June 2026. The result means Iran and Belgium both sit on 2 points in Group G, with their final group matches still to come. Neither side can be satisfied with what they produced. Belgium with Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku, a goalkeeper of Thibaut Courtois's quality, and all the resources of a squad ranked among Europe's most talented. They could not break down Iran's defensive organization for 90 minutes, despite playing against 10 men for the final 24 of them. Lukaku failed to score. De Bruyne's creativity produced moments but not goals. Belgium's coach Rudi Garcia said they lacked efficiency in front of goal and that his side played with too much emotion in key moments. But that is Belgium's story. And as real as it is not the story that deserves the most attention tonight. The story that deserves the most attention is Iran's, because what this team is doing at this World Cup, what they are achieving, how they are competing, the conditions under which they are doing it, deserves to be told in full. Not just the V decision that took away a goal Remy had earned with genuine quality, but everything that surrounds it. Let's go back to the beginning, because the context of this team's presence in Los Angeles is unlike anything any World Cup team in history has previously managed. Iran is at war with the United States. Not a trade dispute, not a diplomatic tension, a military conflict that began in late February 2026, that resulted in strikes, that resulted in casualties, and that placed Iran's participation in a World Cup hosted primarily by the United States in genuine public doubt for months before the tournament began. The country's sports minister appeared on state television and said, "Under no circumstances can we participate," 6 words, an absolute. The resolution, when it came, was one of the most remarkable logistical arrangements in the history of this competition. Iran's base camp was established in Tijuana, Mexico, directly south of the border with California. The team sleeps in Mexico. On match days, they cross the border into the United States, play their football, and return south that same evening. Mexico's president agreed to the arrangement without conditions. The governor of Baja California welcomed the Iranian team to her state as if they were at home. A World Cup nation at war with the primary host country, competing in matches in Los Angeles by crossing an international border on the day of each fixture. 15 of Iran's federation officials, including the federation president and vice president, were denied visas to enter the United States. They are not at Sophie Stadium watching the matches. The people responsible for the administrative and technical infrastructure of Iran's World Cup campaign cannot enter the country where those matches are being played. The federation formally accused the host nation of vindictive behavior, a word chosen carefully and used publicly. Iran's entire supporter ticket allocation was claimed by the federation to have been revoked by FIFA ahead of the tournament, meaning the federation was unable to offer a single ticket through official channels to their own supporters. It is against that backdrop that the crowd at SoFi Stadium tonight, thousands of Iranian Amiens in Southern California, living in the United States watching their country compete, becomes something extraordinary. They were there because they live there, not because the Federation sent them tickets, because 500,000 people of Iranian heritage in Southern California turned out for a football match involving their country. Regardless of the access barriers and regardless of the protests that occurred outside the stadium before kickoff, Iran's national anthem was booed inside the stadium before the match began. Not by everyone, but loudly enough to be heard clearly. Loudly enough to be reported in multiple accounts of the evening. The Iranian players stood on the pitch and listened to their anthem being booed in the city where they were playing in the country at war with theirs in the stadium they had reached by crossing a border that morning. And then they played football. They played very good football. Tammy's disallowed goal was the centerpiece, but it was not the only moment of quality Iran produced. Alireza Birinvand, their goalkeeper, made 2 saves of the highest caliber against a Belgium side pressing desperately for a goal in the final half hour. One of them from Dekapir's close-range effort, described by multiple reporters at the ground as quite extraordinary. The Iranian defensive organization, led by Shoji Khalilzai at center-back, absorbed the pressure of a side with Kevin De Bruyne delivering balls from midfield, with the quality he always has. They didn't simply survive, they competed. Now bring in the wider picture of this tournament for Iran. Their opening match before any of this was against New Zealand at the stadium in Inglewood. Iran conceded first, then equalized, then conceded again, then equalized again. They came from behind twice in their first World Cup match under every conceivable pressure and finished with a 2-2 draw that left them equal on points with Belgium at the top of Group G alongside every other team in it. Mehdi Tami spoke before this match in words that deserve to be heard clearly. He said Iran represents all Iranians wherever they live inside the country or part of the diaspora abroad. He said football can unite people from all backgrounds. He said for many years Iran has been a united nation and that they wanted to showcase that unity. He said they were at the World Cup to bring joy to Iranians wherever they are. Those are not hollow words from a press conference. They are the words of a man who walked out to have his national anthem booed in a stadium in Los Angeles, who had a goal disallowed by VAR after a cleverly worked free kick, who was denied a red card benefit when Belgium's Nathan Ngoy hauled him down, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity in the 66th minute, and who still played 90 minutes of competitive quality football at a World Cup against Belgium. The VAR decision on TMY's goal deserves its own analysis because it sits within a tournament where the transparency of officiating decisions has been a recurring concern since the first week. Iran's free kick was well designed. Termi's movement was intelligent, spinning away from the wall, creating the space to swivel and finish. The goal was visually convincing. When VAR reviewed it, the automated system identified that 4 Iranian players were in offside positions when Hajafi played the quick pass. Timai himself was only marginally offside in his own right, but the combination of the team's positioning made the call straightforward under the current rules as applied. One analyst noted specifically that a player obstructing the Belgian wall could also have been a factor. The decision, unlike some of the other VAR controversies at this tournament, appears to have been a correct one under the laws of the game as written. It was no less painful for that. A correct call and a heartbreaking one can be the same thing simultaneously. Think about what this means for Group G. As it stands, all 4 teams have now played 2 matches. Belgium and Iran both have 2 points from 2 draws. New Zealand, having drawn both of their matches, sit on 2 points. Egypt, who drew with Belgium and will face New Zealand in their final group game, are also on 1 or 2 points depending on their result at time of writing. The group is entirely open. Iran's final group game against Egypt is a match they can win. A match that, if they win, it could take them into the round of 32 for the first time in their World Cup history. Given everything they have navigated to be here, the war, the Tijana base camp, the denied officials, the revoked ticket allocation, the booed anthem, the VAR heartbreak in the 25th minute, the idea of Iran advancing from this group is something the football world should be paying attention to. And the football world is paying attention. Coverage of Iran at this tournament has been unlike anything their previous World Cup appearances have generated. The combination of the extraordinary off-pitch circumstances and the quality of their on-pitch performances has drawn exactly the kind of neutral support that tends to accumulate around teams who are seen as competing against the odds. Before the Belgium match, Iran's coach Amir Galano was described in multiple pre-match analyses as guiding a structurally resilient and spirited side. Their ability to twice come from behind against New Zealand was cited as proof of genuine tournament mentality, not simply defensive organization. And TMI, now 33 years old in what may be his final World Cup after years at Porto and Inter Milan, and a career that has made him the most decorated Iranian player of his generation in European football, was described in one major preview as the lethal focal point of a transition game that thrives under elite pressure. That is the football that the crowd of Iranian Amines in Southern California came to see. And in between, the booed anthem and the disallowed goal and the 0-0 scoreline, that is precisely what they witnessed. What happens next for Iran is the question the football will now answer. They face Egypt in their final group match knowing that a win keeps them alive and possibly takes them through. Egypt, having drawn both of their own matches, face a similarly urgent situation. It will be a match between two nations who have both experienced this tournament in complicated, emotionally layered ways. And Iran will play it having spent the entirety of this competition crossing a border on match days to compete in a country at war with their own under conditions that no football rulebook was ever written to address. What do you think? Is Iran's performance at this World Cup, the football quality, the resilience, the dignity under circumstances unlike any other teams, the most underreported story of the tournament so far? If you found this worth your time, a like helps more than you'd think. Subscribe if you enjoy thoughtful football coverage, and let me know your view in the comments. I read everyone.